in my head, this is how I pictured my Cabo trip going, like lounging, listening to Morgan Wallen, Margarita.
Sure.
And then I hear Despacito coming from like a party barge in the ocean. And I'm kind of like, what are they? Oh, that's not me. That's not for me. And then all of a sudden my body's walking towards the party barge.
Right.
And like, obviously, like you said, like a lot of our audience is in college.
Right.
Like, and so I went, and it was like, I've never met a stranger. All my new friends are at this bar. And I mean, it happened every day.
I just have like the funniest image of like seeing you relaxing and then like seeing your like full body being summoned by Despacito, like out of your control.
And you know the Bieber version too. It's like,
yeah. Oh, I only know the Bieber version.
My hands are legitimate.
You have no when you hear that song,
my hands
like,
are tied.
Yeah,
I'm going to like.
Yeah, you have no choice.
No, I have no choice, and it was really fun.
That's good.
I was gonna say in relation. Shut up. What am I? I'm on NPR about your like good sleep thing. I feel like I need more self-confidence.
Well, let me give context to that. I was just saying I'm always like so exhausted when I sleep well, as opposed to when I don't. Because like when I sleep well and I wake up, it's like I want to be back in that moment of sleeping well.
Mm-hmm.
And I slept so good last night, like dreamless, just like dead to the world, which is my favorite kind. Because we all know our dreams are not dreams, more so nightmares and stress dreams. Sorry, what were you saying?
No, I agree with you. And I was just nodding in solitude. I was just saying I need more self-confidence and not in personality or body image. I just need to trust myself that I turned my alarm on.
100%.
Like, I did. And you checked 3 times and it's going to go off. Like,
right. And it's on repeat every Wednesday morning. So it's like, why do I?
Goes off at 6:45, the first one.
Yeah.
Then 7. It's every 15 minutes.
That's early.
Well, I have to get the swelling down on my face. So I have to be up at least 2 hours before. And then I do the emails in the morning just in case we get any new ones.
Oh, smart.
Yeah. Ooh.
Burp off of the... No, I'm fine. And I want to apologize in advance if I'm a little bit more shy and reserved today.
Why?
I am scared to talk about anyone or anything, especially using people by name. I had a little bit of a trauma yesterday in relation to our friend at Equinox that I've spoken about. I am even hesitant to say what happened, but I'm going to give you a very brief summary.
Please.
Walk into Equinox yesterday, as I do, because I'm a gym rat. And there's this guy at the front desk every time who's the sweetest guy. We've had such a nice thing going on. He's always so nice to me. And we had our usual banter. And this is like I've been there for 4 weeks now.
Yeah, a month.
A month. And I've gone, according to my app, 23 times.
That's
incredible. That's a lot of times. Yeah.
You have a lot to be proud of.
And this time he was like, I just have to say, like, I'm such a fan. And I was like, oh my God, because I wasn't expecting this. Because when I think of our fan base, like, I always think of like, girls in their 20s. So you never expect it to be like a buff guy in their 30s that works at Equinox.
That's incredible to hear.
And he's like, I'm such a big fan. And I was like, oh my God, thank you. That is so kind. Like, I always love hearing that. And he's like, yeah, I especially love the podcast. And I was like, oh my God, like, thank you so much. That's so great. No alarm bells going off at this point. And then he's like, yeah, we all had a great laugh about that.
We all, as in the person that you wrote fan fiction about?
Well, Connor, still, I'm like, oh, that's so nice. Thank you so much. Well, I think he said something like, oh, like I laughed, like we all, something about that. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. I'm walking away. I'm going up the stairs. I stop dead in my tracks.
Right.
And I remember that the things that we have discussed on this podcast, such as, but not limited to, someone writing a fan fiction about me and one of the trainers I thought was hot at Equinox, putting more context into, we all had a good laugh.
A request into the public domain to write fan fiction about you.
I do want to say I didn't write it. if that helps at
Let's
all.
clear the air.
Hands up, I did not write that, but I did ask that it be written, and I'm like, well, I'm so dumb. Why didn't I change his I didn't change his name. I changed the girl's name, the girl trainer's name that I talked about, but I didn't change his name. And Ryan is so smart. He was saying that because he wasn't a real person to me. You know,
he was a picture frame on the wall.
Yeah, because I still never met him.
Yeah.
So I have to quit Equinox and the podcast.
Well, there's one in Santa Monica you could come to instead.
Yeah. I need to change my membership, but I want to. He's gonna get a restraining order. No,
I think that knowing now what we know about him, which is just finding his Instagram, I think maybe that's flattering for him because he is an actor, and maybe that's like the first.
Do I even want to say that I found his Instagram?
Well, we did last episode.
Oh,
and we're confirming.
I'm terrified of the things I've said and the things I'm going to say in the future.
That's okay,
and that's why I apologize if I'm shy today, because I mean, what am I going to do next time I go to Equinox?
I think you need to lean into it and just, he knows, I'm sure he knows what he looks like. You know, it's okay.
Not my fault he's hot.
It's none of our faults. It's none of our faults.
But you know what I need to do next time I think, and this is something I've struggled with all my life, when I think someone's hot, it's okay to keep that to myself, I think. And that's not something I've ever done.
I want to second that. I'm learning that it's okay to stop talking.
Yes.
Too. So, and the same, like that, your concept's cousin over here, like.
It's like, if I think someone's cute, I don't immediately need to request a fan fiction be written about the two of us, you know? And then I don't need to immediately read that fan fiction and broadcast it to like 50,000 people, you know?
Sure.
It's like there are steps back I could take.
Learning.
Maybe
We're all
just
learning.
Thinking,
and
hey,
maybe
he's cute.
Maybe someone
go about my day.
Maybe,
that could be something.
Maybe someone's gonna hear this and be like, oh, maybe
I could help someone today.
Brooke made the mistakes so that we didn't have to.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So if you guys are watching this, maybe don't publicly request for a fan fiction to be written about you and a real person that works at a place that you go to every day, and then subsequently read that fan fiction on live podcast platforms.
Yeah. I mean, I've had to switch twice Trader Joe's because I keep meeting the cashiers, and I kind of just want my Trader Joe's experience to be me in my zone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that's very similar to Equinox. Like you almost don't want anybody to be real because there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, the Equinox thing does feel a little bit more personal. Not to one up you.
Well, they're going to be stretching your glutes.
Yeah,
eventually.
Yeah, and just the nature of the fan fiction and
the fan fiction was. I'm just trying to make you.
I appreciate it, but I think there's nothing that can be done.
Okay, well,
I'm toast.
Well, we'll keep everyone in the loop. Updates as they come.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
I will keep you guys updated, but also I might just shut the fuck up. Like that's a possibility.
Hey,
but that's never been my thing. And you know what? That's why we're here today, having this beautiful opportunity to have a podcast together, because I've never been silent.
Brooke, I've tried to shut the fuck up for years now.
It's not possible.
And be someone, like be this cool, like reserved, like I would read books and like post Instagram photos without a caption, you know?
Yeah.
I cannot shut the fuck up.
It's not
It's just okay. It's just not, it's not for everybody.
Right.
So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I think
I just hope that if he's out there, I hope you enjoyed that fan fiction and it didn't make you uncomfortable.
Do you want to
move on?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm happy to see you today. I didn't think you would make it.
Yeah, I wasn't going to make it.
Yeah. You want to tell us about that?
Yeah. I mean, I'll go really quick because there's a lot of details that don't need to be shared. Like no one's going to care. But I went to Cabo Friday, got in Friday, got home last night. But yesterday we had a meeting, the brainstorm meeting for today's episode. And I joined from a van that was taking me to a hospital in Cabo to get a last-minute COVID test to get on my flight, and I didn't have a boarding pass for my flight. And when I got to the airport, I found out that they sent me a huge email in Spanish, which I didn't read because I thought it was just like, here's your confirmation number for your ticket.
Mm-hmm.
And no, it was them saying like, you're not confirmed for this flight yet. You need to like rebook. And so I got to the airport. They're like, we don't have a flight for you. and then my flight got canceled, and then they just had a new flight, and I had to buy a new flight. So when I was calling you guys, I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna make it back from Cabo, and it was a pretty chill trip. It was fun. I didn't realize. So like I got invited last minute, and like Friday I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go because flights were pretty cheap, round trip. And I was like, I'm gonna go. Did not think about the fact that it is spring break, the college spring break.
Right. Oh, I didn't think about that either.
Yeah. So like I went there thinking it's gonna be almost like rehab, except with a little bit of drinks.
Right. You did tell me you wanted to take it easy.
I did, and we did relatively. And if you saw me in Cabo, keep it to yourself.
I saw you on social media as well.
Yeah. I mean, it was relatively. It was a hybrid of how I act normally, and then also some new stuff. Like I got 2 massages.
Okay.
I got a massage one massage a day for 2 days.
Wow, look at you.
Yeah, and I did. I laid in the pool. It's just like I can't sit still.
Right.
And so I'd be sitting in a tube, like, okay, this is how I wanted. In my head, this is how I pictured my Cabo trip going, like lounging, listening to Morgan Wallen, Margarita.
Sure.
And then I hear Despacito coming from like a party barge in the ocean, and I'm kind of like, what are they? Oh, that's not me. That's not for me. And then all of a sudden, my body's walking towards the party bar,
right?
And like obviously, like you said, like a lot of our audience is in college,
Right.
Like, and so I went, and it was like I've never met a stranger. They're all my new friends are at this bar, and I mean, it happened every day.
I just have like the funniest image of like seeing you relaxing and then like seeing your like full body being summoned by Despacito like out of your control.
You know the Bieber version too. It's like
oh, I only know the Bieber version.
My hands are legitimate.
You have no when you hear that song.
My hands
like,
are tied.
Yeah,
I'm going to like.
Yeah, you have no choice.
No, I have no choice, and it was really fun.
That's good.
It was really fun. I just like it freaks you out. If you ever like a lot of people, when you go on a trip, especially with like college friends, and you're leaving and it's just the worst experience of your entire life because you've been so overstimulated for a couple days that like you get on the plane and you feel like you're gonna just catch on fire or explode.
No, actually, I never went on a trip in college. I've only ever been to the Dominican Republic with my dad, and they thought we were married and gave us one bed with flower petals on it and called us the Avericks, which is true, but they didn't mean it in the way that we are the Avericks. You know what I mean?
That's never happened to me, but I know what you mean.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. Did you?
But I want to take you
room?
back to. No, I got a cot, and my dad got the bed. But I do want to bring you back to. You were saying you were in the van. That's how you started. And why I thought you weren't going to make it today.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in this rickety van, and he's like, "Do you want to go fast or slow?" And I was like, "Well, I need to go fast, I guess, but that shouldn't be an option." When I'm going to the airport on like a Tuesday afternoon, like fast or slow to me would have been like a Friday night decision. Whew.
Are you okay?
Yeah, no, I'm okay. I'm just apologizing to everyone on site today.
Do you have to go to the bathroom?
It's okay. Anyways. Yeah, so I'm in this van, and like we had this meeting, and I'm on the phone, and I'm going in and out of service. We're going through toll roads that I've never seen before, and I've been in Cabo a couple times. Like I know where we're supposed to go. The airport's one road to get there. Jeez, I was so freaked out, and then I'm on the phone with you guys, like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. Like I think that we should, let's chat about this. Let's chat about that. And then I'd go out of service, and then I couldn't book my flight. It was crazy, but I'm glad. I haven't had an experience where I'm like, I'm glad to be back in LA in so long. So it's good to miss where you're from.
Well, I'm glad that you're back.
Yeah.
Personally.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's good to be back.
Yeah. We're happy to have you. I guess
let's go into what we have to talk about. And everyone's already talked about it.
I don't think there's anything left to be said.
There is. I have some stuff to say about the Oscars and the Will Smith and Chris Rock thing. I want to start by saying the nuances I can't even speak to,
right?
Because it's not my place. But I do know that it happened. It's was not appropriate on either side.
Well, I've seen so many things that are like white people need to shut up. about what happened between Will Smith and Chris Rock because like you don't understand the nuances of it.
Yeah.
And whenever I see like white people shut up, it's like I'll be shutting the fuck up. Right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
You know,
I mean,
it's
everyone
like I have no.
everyone can have their own opinions on it. Like everyone's already, like I said, already posted about it.
Yeah.
Now it's like, yeah, everyone's annoying. I
Yeah.
don't even want to talk about
Right.
it anymore. But like, here's a couple things I want to say.
Okay.
I wish that it was James Gordon getting slapped. I think that would have been really refreshing and nice.
I like him a lot. Hot take, I guess. But I will say, like, one of my favorite hobbies is to go to the late night tapings here because they're open to the public. You just, like, get a free ticket online the night before for Kimmel and Corden. Those are the ones in LA. And they're so fun. And, like, watching them, it's like, this is the most talented you can be, is to be able to think so quickly on the fly like that and interact with these celebrities.
Yeah.
And just like engage your audience so quickly. I just have I like can't really say anything bad about James Corden, honestly, after seeing him
I'll do it,
in his element.
I don't like him and he sucks.
I think that's a popular opinion.
Yeah. I
He's
mean,
never done anything to me.
no, me either.
Yeah.
But except like I just don't.
I have such respect for late night.
I like Kimmel a lot.
He is so brilliant.
But we should finish this one
Right.
this one bullet point that we
I'm
started.
avoiding. Yeah.
Well, don't avoid it. It's okay. It happened, and it's the biggest thing that happened. And
Right.
we are talking about pop culture, and we're
Right,
talking about
yeah,
current events.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
apologies if you don't want us to talk about it.
Right.
Keep it to yourself. I will say a couple things.
Okay.
I think so. Obviously, there was a lot of outspoken supporters of both sides.
Right.
Adam Sandler spoke out for Chris Rock. So did David Spade. And they're that like OG grown-ups group.
Right. I love that group.
Me too. It's the best group.
What fun.
Yeah, seriously. But like, so apparently, so Adam Sandler tweeted about Chris Rock's like upcoming comedy tour.
Uh-huh.
And his tour sold more tickets in the past 2 days. It's just like these rich people just walk away from situations like this richer.
That's what it is. Just
It's-
like celebrities get away with so much.
Right.
And like regardless of what happened, it's like if that situation had happened in a situation in a setting where it wasn't like all famous people's at the Oscars, like
You know what else?
you know what he would have been
Not-
removed from the premises.
Speaking to nuances
Mm-hmm.
a little bit, if the roles were switched and a girl went up and smacked another girl, like she would have been tackled and dragged out of the place.
So true.
Like
true.
bodied.
Like it
this
would have been
girl's-
like a cat fight.
This
Like a
girl's
cat fight, yeah.
emotional. She's
Yeah.
a psycho. Like
Yeah.
she's never coming back to the Oscars. Unhinged. She would have been like, everyone would have been like, she's wasted or she's like on drugs.
Right. I didn't think about that.
Especially if she was receiving an award after and just bawling her eyes out and not acknowledging.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. That's a great feminist take, Connor.
Thanks. It's
Yeah.
who I am.
Yeah.
It's who I've always been.
Speaking of feminist takes, what I'll say is the next day I expected everything to be about Chris and Will, and it mostly was, but there was so much criticism of Amy Schumer too, specifically for her joke about Kirsten Dunst being a seat filler.
Yeah, can
I elaborate?
Yeah,
Basically what happened is
we couldn't
Kirsten, yeah, you weren't watching live, right?
we couldn't watch.
Right.
It wasn't
You were
available.
in Cabo. She basically, Kirsten and Jesse Plemons, her husband, were sitting together, and Amy went up and was like, excuse me, like, do you mind if I sit here? And basically it was just like, these are what we call seat fillers, like people we need to just fill the seats. And Jesse was just like, oh, that's actually my wife. That was like the extent of it. Just like a whatever joke. Like, I don't think most of the jokes at the Oscars are particularly great, but it wasn't like super, like she said, like Amy came out and was like, yeah, Kirsten was in on that, like whatever. The fact, like the hate that Amy Schumer gets, like people were like, I hate Amy Schumer after that, is purely because she is a woman in comedy. Like, you can think she's not funny. That's completely fine. But the way that people are like, I hate her, fully because she's a woman.
Well, I think I go back and forth on Amy Schumer. I think she's like,
and you can think she's not funny. Like, you have every right. But it's like the amount of hate she gets for the smallest thing.
I do like her comedy. I think she's funny. But I have sometimes I have the same feelings I have towards Chrissy Teigen about Amy Schumer.
Yeah, and that's
Just
fine. Like, you can have those
She's kind of
feelings.
like us. She doesn't shut up.
Yeah, she doesn't shut up. But I will say, like, I always get comments. Like, I just relate to the hate she gets in terms of being a woman in comedy so much, because I always get comments like on the podcast. It's like, Brooke talks too much. It's a fucking podcast. What do you want me to do? Dance?
I would love you to dance.
Like, I mean, it's just like I just think like, and I'm a broken record here, but it's just like,
Right.
A
No, I get
non-funny
it.
man is not going to get the same amount of like vitriolic hate
I want to say
that Amy gets.
so award shows have never been for me. I think this year it was like
Yeah.
way more relevant because there were a bunch of TikTokers there, and I was like, oh, these are.
How do you feel about all the TikTokers
So
going?
here's what I'll say, and Jim Carrey mentioned it. He's like, we're no longer the cool kids. All of these bits are just trying to go viral. Like these are all viral moments now on social media because that's where everybody is, and we've lost the plot. Like
Yeah.
this is like the first deaf actor won like best actor
Right.
last night, and like the first trans person won some other award. I wasn't watching, but I was
Right.
like, that's not getting any press, and it's all about these viral moments, and like they're going viral on TikTok, and then
We've lost the plot.
there's
You're
these
right.
TikTokers there that are like, those are kind of the A-listers, and these A-listers are just embarrassing themselves right and left.
Well, it's so interesting because the TikTokers that were like partitioned off from the A-listers. Like they weren't even really allowed to interact from what I could see. Like all of the viral videos that the TikTokers posted were like them like behind a rope, like selfie filming with like Andrew Garfield.
Yeah. Well, Tinks was sitting with Troye Sivan.
Yeah, that's true. But to me, like Troy wasn't there because of acting, you know, he's more in the realm of like there to as a spectator, like the influencers.
Well, I just think it's like.
And did you see that picture of Addison Rae texting? And there's like this gorgeous shot of Andrew Garfield and in the back, and you know how much he means to me, tier 1. And Addison Rae is in the back texting. If you're going to be texting 2 inches away from Andrew Garfield, you better be texting your friends about how good he smells. Like that is it.
He probably does smell.
He probably,
so good.
you know, just by looking at him. But like
Fresh.
that picture made me so angry that like you're that close to Andrew Garfield and you're on your phone. Again, only excuse is to be texting your friends about like, oh my God, I'm right next to Andrew Garfield. Oh yeah, like that is like I'm shaking. I would be.
I don't know. I think I would probably be texting too.
I would be so mad at you.
I'd be at the open bar. I would be having so much fun at this party. I know that I would ethically clout chase right and left.
I would be. I hope I don't ever get invited because I would be like feral.
Can someone Photoshop me onto Garfield's back in this photo?
No, Photoshop me onto Garfield's back and you as Addison.
Oh yeah, I'd be texting.
Yeah,
I'd be like, actually no, I don't really get on my phones when I'm at things like this.
No, I'm.
I don't.
Okay. But I would be so feral at the Oscars, like scary. Like if they ever put me in to interview people, it would be such a spectacle because I would just be like, can you tell me about that one time 17 years ago when you kissed Zac Efron? Was that real? Like, were you guys feeling anything there? Or was that... I would just...
Wait, who kissed?
I don't know. No one. I'm just like, if I was interviewing like Vanessa Hudgens or something, I would just be like, 17 years ago, like, tell me about that music video you did with Zach. You know, that kind of...
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. It's like hard to play it very coy when you're like, I know everything about you.
Yeah.
But that's...
In conclusion, I don't think that, like, I don't understand why these influencers are being... I guess I understand it from, like, like, getting content on platforms.
I'll tell you what, it's exactly what we talked about. How
viral moments.
TikTok is, like, the main sponsor of... Crap, I can never say the word. Cans? Is it can?
I think it's can.
Can?
Yeah, CANNES.
Silent S always gets me.
I think it's can.
You can't sneak an S in there at the end of a word and expect me not to pronounce it.
I hear you.
Kines.
Yeah.
Can. But TikTok is like, that's a film festival, and TikTok is like the biggest sponsor. Money talks.
I know. It's just we've lost the plot. Like, I just wish that wasn't what the Oscars was about. That being said, if I'm invited, I'll go.
I would love to be invited.
Yeah.
I'd love to be invited.
If I'm invited, I'll go. But don't invite me.
Yeah, I don't want
That's the kind of thing.
I just want to be invited, but I shouldn't be there.
Right, that's how I feel.
I also think, come on, Connor, use the brain. Neurons are firing, and I'm about to say something
I'm here.
good.
Okay.
No, I'm not. I lost it.
Okay.
Sometimes when I move my head too fast, I lose the thought that I was about to say.
And that is just science, babe. You're fine.
Anyways, the last thing I want to say about the Will Smith and Chris Rock thing, and I know we've moved on really far, is that Assistants versus Agents, which is an Instagram account that's really funny. It's like very like Hollywood-esque, like, but people in the industry, and it's like a bunch of very niche memes about stuff like that. Posted a very real listing from the Westbrook Company, which is Will Smith and Jada's company, about an opening for the director of marketing, which sounds like they need a new director of PR.
PR?
Yeah.
Oh.
Marketing.
Well,
I think I mean, I don't know any details, but it sounds like either they fired or someone left because they didn't align
I would
anymore.
Yeah. Yikes.
And I didn't watch
Yikes.
any of the rest of the Oscars. Like I said, I would never have ever watched the Oscars.
Right.
I didn't see any of the
Well,
movies.
now everyone will next year. For
well,
sure.
no, it just seems like they got the views that they so desperately needed. I feel like the award shows are just struggling right now.
Yeah. Live events always give me such anxiety because you don't know what's going to happen. And I had like the weirdest experience at a live event, actually. Yeah, and I've said I always go to those like tapings. And I was at Jimmy Kimmel last week, and I'm so scared to say things about people, but I don't think Jamie Lee Curtis will watch this. I'm hoping. I know you really never know. I didn't think anybody at Equinox will watch this, and I'm praying Jamie Lee Curtis isn't going to watch this. But she was the guest when I was at Kimmel.
That's pretty cool.
Which is so cool. But she was like, I'm like trying to. What's like a positive way to say like off her goddamn rocker? And it was like in the audience, I was like grabbing my leg because I was so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
While she was out there, and just like live things like that are so scary. And like you could tell Jimmy, like the worst. Jimmy was uncomfortable up there with her because she was like, she like immediately walks out, and like Jimmy goes to give her a hug, and she's like patting her heart, and she's like, Jimmy, and like basically instructing Jimmy on how to give her a hug properly. And so Jimmy, like they sit down, like Jimmy tries to steer the conversation. He goes, I just kind of schooled you, Jimmy, didn't I? And everyone's like, oh dear God, Jamie Lee, what are you talking about? And she's going on and on about how when you hug, like you need to hug heart to heart. And she's like, so like, please, like in the future, like when you're hugging someone, please hug them heart to heart. And I want everyone here to go home and like practice a heart to heart hug. And it's like, okay, Jamie, sure. And at this point, you know, everyone in the audience is like, oh dear God.
Good meds.
Okay, Jamie. And then she's like going on about how like she invented Instagram, and then people start laughing, and she like snaps back at the audience. And she's like, I'm not joking. It's not funny. I invented Instagram. We'll get back to that later. And then she never did. And then she was like yelling at Jimmy Kimmel because she was talking about how her daughter's having a cosplay wedding. And Jimmy's like, oh, what's cosplay? And she's like, Jimmy? Cosplay. Costume play. And Jimmy's like, oh, awesome. What is that? And she's looking at him like he has three heads. Jimmy? Cosplay. And I'm like grabbing my leg for dear life, like so uncomfortable. And Jimmy's like, oh, okay. Is it a theme? And she's like repeating, and you can like go watch this, like Jimmy Kimmel, Jamie Lee Curtis interview. She's like, Jimmy, COS, costume play, Jimmy. And that was like the whole interview, and it was so painful. Anyway, yeah, that's just like
here. I don't know what I would do in that situation.
Being like in live environments are so scary, and I like just am always like cringing, like in live things like the Oscars, and I was proven justified in doing so.
Sure.
Yeah, it was scary to watch that live.
Yeah. I loved the reactions though at the Oscars. That's the only thing I could speak about at the Oscars was TikTokers and the Vanity Fair after party that everyone went to.
Oh, that looked so fun.
It looked so freaking cool.
There was this like one picture of Andrew Garfield, Larry David, Nick Kroll, and Alana Haim together.
Great group of Jewish people.
Great group. Like I just
people,
like I feel
Jewish people. So.
Jews are people too, and I can say that. But yeah, that was like insane to see.
Yeah,
and just
sure.
like I feel like I needed to be there.
Yeah, I know. I like I said, like I should not be there at all, but
I should not be there. But I invite me. Anything else from the Oscars? That was noteworthy. Timothy Chalamet's outfit. How'd you feel about that?
Like, I love the idea of not wearing a shirt under a blazer.
Yeah.
I feel like I could do that.
I loved it. Like, one, he gave the people what they wanted. Two, I feel like it would be one thing if it was this guy that was, like, super, like, like, openly, like, I'm ripped, I'm buff, like, I love my body, like, walking there, like, without a shirt on. But, like, we know Timmy is this, like, kind of, like, more reserved, almost awkward in some situations guy. So that was, like, such a power move to show up in that outfit. I feel I loved it.
I mean, yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I think it's again, it's like fascinating the idea of not wearing a shirt under a blazer at like the event of the century.
Yeah, I applaud him for it. I have nothing bad to say about Timmy.
Same.
You're making me nervous. You have to go to the bathroom.
Having a little
just go.
panic attack. No, I'm good. That was like a very tense situation for me. I had a lot of coffee today, everybody, and a green juice. So I'm sweating.
Yeah, you look, just go.
You guys mind if we take a quick break? Hey guys, we're going to take a quick break to thank a sponsor of today's episode, Feels. Become a member and get 50% off your first order. CBD isn't about what you feel, it's about what you don't feel, to be honest with you. Stress, anxiety, pain, I could go on and on and on. I've had the best experiences with CBD.
Tell me about them.
It's just, I love it. It calms me down. It clears some brain fog. I put it in my coffee if you want to. You can take it. It's just, the options are limitless.
Wow, it sounds like it. And Feels is a better way to feel better. Feels is a premium CBD that will help to keep your head clear and feel your best. It's hassle-free, delivered directly to your door. CBD naturally helps reduce stress, anxiety, pain, and sleeplessness. There's no hangover or addiction.
Yep. Place a few drops of Feels under your tongue and feel the difference within minutes. The thing to remember about CBD is that finding your right dose is important and everyone's dose is different. In fact, Feels offers a free CBD hotline to help guide your experience so that you find your perfect dose. The Feels customer service team is dedicated to make sure you get the best use of your CBD. Joining the Feels monthly membership makes your self-care easy. You'll save money on every order and you can pause or cancel at any time.
Start feeling better with Feels. Become a member today by going to feels.com/BNC and you'll get 50% off your first order with free shipping. That's FEALS.com/BNC to become a member and get 50% automatically taken off your first order with free shipping. Feels.com/BNC.
I don't know if we'll keep it in, but I do because I'm a man that prides myself on transparency and also class.
Yes.
So I wasn't gonna mention what just happened, to lean heavier onto my transparent side, I did almost just shit my pants on camera.
And I could see, from the beginning, I've been getting sweatier and sweatier and clutching onto that chair harder and harder. And you just have to lean into being
I have to
open
be
about
who I
that.
am. I also want to say, for anyone working upstairs, I'm so sorry. I would advise you to shut the door.
to burn the building down.
It is.
Connor, it's okay.
Okay.
I
Well,
want to be the safe space for you because God knows it's happened to me so many times, and you know this.
that was such a crisis averted.
Not even a problem.
And thank you for your patience.
Yes.
And
Oh my
everybody
God.
else. I do want to say, and I wasn't going to mention this again because I'm a man of class, but I did drink just a ton of tap water in Mexico this past weekend.
That's it. That's it.
They call it Montezuma's Revenge, and
Montezuma's wreaking havoc.
kicking my ass today and yesterday and the day before. Every time I go to Mexico, I forget about I'll have ice cubes that I made in an ice maker from tap water. I'll make a pot of coffee with tap water. I'll just get in my shower and open my mouth.
Right.
So,
and it's like those kinds, the tap water kinds of stomach aches are like childbirth level, I would imagine.
So, I mean, if we can circle back to my experience of getting to the airport on top of that yesterday, I can't believe I didn't cry. I literally was like thinking about it. I'm like, I'm very, I must be in a really good mental place right now because and
I was saying this before, your bandwidth for stress is insane. If I know I need to be recording a podcast on Wednesday morning, my flight to get back here is the latest Sunday. So I have time to nap 6 times, watch 18 episodes of Criminal Minds, go food shopping, and prepare. You could get off the plane and come to set, which is crazy.
Well, I mean, our first podcast we ever recorded here together, I got in at 7 a.m. and came straight here.
If I do that, I'm gonna have to cancel. I cannot.
That was an accident.
I cannot go from one stressful situation into a different situation. It's just not how I'm built.
No, I mean,
I have very little tolerance for any small inconvenience. Any little tiny inconvenience takes me out for a week and a half.
I mean, I don't.
And you know that.
Yeah, well, I'm the same way. I've had the same to-do list for almost a year now, and if I drop something on the ground, it takes me about a day to pick it back up. I've had a rubber band it's sitting on the ground in my kitchen for I don't even know when it got there or where it came from, But like for some reason I can't pick it up.
Yeah.
It's
I
2022.
know.
I can't believe we still
I
have to
know.
bend down to
And
pick
picking
something
things
up.
I know. Those
I
are
can't believe I'm so sorry. I can't believe we have to put in a new trash bag after we take the trash out.
Right.
What are we doing?
You're speaking God's truth right now.
We need to move on from the Oscars because I just genuinely don't. It is like a bunch of people.
Oh, you wanted to talk about Julia Fox?
Yeah, it's just like a bunch of people like S-ing each other's D's, like about who's so famous and rich and relevant, and it's just like
let's move on. We don't even have to give it any more attention.
The Julia Fox thing was funny. This woman is like it's flipping around, and now I think she's hilarious.
It is hard to believe that she's real.
Did you see this interview about her book?
About her book? Yeah, she used to think it was just a memoir, but now it's just like
my first book.
Yeah.
I don't like to speak about things before they're done because I'm really superstitious.
Yeah.
Superstitious.
He is giving us everything. Yeah, let's play it because I think even audio only, like you will understand completely.
Yeah, we're gonna play the interview.
Really want to do? That's your dream project?
Oh my God, my book, of course. Yeah.
Tell me about the book.
Well, I don't want to give too much of it away because I'm very superstitious, so I don't like to speak of things before they're finished. But it's so far a masterpiece, if I do say so myself. So I hope that.
Is it fiction? Is it a memoir? What is
no, it's you know, it was like a memoir at first, but now it's just like my first book. You know.
Okay.
So, yeah, that'll be coming out soon.
Really want to do that?
This is like someone who I would call on in school during popcorn reading just to be mean.
Yeah, I mean, imagine being that interviewer. All you can say is, sure,
Did you see
superstitious?
Superstitious?
Superstitious? Yep, that sounds
just like,
good.
That's just like the easiest word too.
Nuh-uh.
I felt like a lot of people that I'm seeing now, were just like stoned on the red carpet.
She was really stoned. Like, did you see her eyes?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's an art form to be able to go out and interview when you're high off of weed.
She did it better than I ever would have. After a gummy.
That's genuinely incredible. Did you see Fez from Euphoria's interview?
No, I didn't.
Angus Stone.
Angus Cloud.
Angus Cloud.
No, I didn't.
Angus Stoned. My bad. That's what I was. Can we pull up?
I didn't see that.
Can we just pull up a clip of his red carpet interview really quick? You got to see this. It's like. There's just like a group of people that are going to these events. Like if I was going to this, I'd be like what you're talking about, how you'd prep for 3 days.
Right.
I'd be like sleeping. I'd be like on my A game. Watch this. This is Angus Cloud.
What do you tell the fans who had such incredibly emotional, strong reactions to the finale?
I'll tell them.
I can't watch.
No.
That's what's up, you know what I'm saying?
What was your reaction when you first read the script?
I love him.
I mean, what part of the script?
The final episodes.
Oh yeah, I was kind of tripping. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's wild.
Where do you hope the show goes from here?
I hope it keeps going up.
Has it all been emotional for you?
Yeah.
Well, you look awesome. Go have fun tonight. Anybody you're excited to see?
Everybody. I'm excited to see everybody. I love everybody, you feel me? So.
And what's next for you?
I don't know, take some pictures and whatnot. Maybe talk to somebody else. I don't know.
Do we really have to wait till 2024 for season 3?
I don't know.
You know.
I don't. Yeah, they don't know. They don't tell me.
Give us one word for what's going to happen in season 3.
No, thank you.
Why is she still going?
That's her job. I mean,
I guess, but like when you see someone is that uncomfortable, because he's not. This is his first acting gig. Like he has no experience whatsoever, and really in that field. Like they picked him, basically like they saw him on the street, I think, and then we're like, you're Fez. He clearly was uncomfortable. Like I would have shut the fuck up after one question.
That's me trying to like talk to my parents when I was 17 and I like smoked weed for the first time.
But imagine how it must feel to be at the Oscars and like not feel comfortable. Like that's got to be a horrible feeling. And I don't know his experience, but like that made me feel bad.
This opinion is like bad, and I don't like when people say it, but they signed up for that. You're on the red carpet doing interviews. Like that's what people want to see.
I don't know if I feel that way. I just feel like if I were her, I would just like sense someone's uncomfortable and stop. You know?
Yeah, well, that's her job, and his job is to do interviews.
Right, but
and
I
take
think
pictures.
interviewers' jobs are also to like understand who you're talking to. You know?
I'm sure her boss was like, good job powering through. Like, you got at least like a clip that we just pulled up and watched. It's
Right.
going to get views.
I just am thinking from more of a like personal standpoint instead of a job standpoint. Just like I would have been like, okay, have fun. Like he was like backing away, like trying to get away for the life of him.
In college, I worked this job where we would cold call alums. And it was, thinking back, like I almost blacked it out of my memory because it was like almost traumatizing. It was like, I can't believe I'm here for 4 hours a day, you know, in between classes. And I was doing it because someone recommended it to me. Like it was like it was like something that like college kids would go do, and you make like a bunch of cash. And not a bunch of cash. It was like very crappy pay. And they would say, do not take no for an answer. And they would listen to our phone calls because I'd be like, okay, no worries. And I'd like be like, thank you. Like, and I'd call people and they'd be like, this is his mother. He died this year. And I'd be like, okay, do you want to donate like $200 then? And she'd be like, do not call me back. And I'm like, okay, what about $150?
That is so horrible.
It's like, that's what
I know.
you're trained to do.
I just like have such a little, I feel like I've used the word bandwidth 18 times today, but bandwidth for things that are uncomfortable. Like I can't watch that. Couldn't watch Chris. I can't watch the Chris and Will clip. I couldn't watch Liza Minnelli because that was like, I just like feeling uncomfortable.
What happened with Liza Minnelli?
She's just like had so many health issues and she's clearly just like not super well. And Lady Gaga wheeled her out onto stage to present an award. And she like had a lot of trouble articulating it. And Lady Gaga like was great and like so respectful towards her, but like had to take over a lot. And it was just like hard. It was like very painful to watch.
Damn.
Things that are like painful to watch like that, I'm just like, no, I don't. I'd rather just not watch them. Yeah, it was. And Lady Gaga was so sweet about it, but I'm just like, what? Like, I don't even know if Liza like would have wanted that. I don't know. It just like made me sad and uncomfortable. That's it. I'm just like, I don't want to. I don't like. No.
It's funny. All the moments from the Oscars that we're talking about all sucked.
Yeah, and it's like they're the most viral things. I can't watch any of them.
Imagine something good happening. That would have been awesome.
Well, so many things did happen, and we just aren't talking about them because they're all overshadowed by like these things that happened. Because those are the viral moments. The good things are just like, yay, great.
Yeah.
But people love sensational things.
Yeah.
Which is sad.
You know what was really sensational?
Julia Fox.
Finding out that Alexandra Daddario had my name in her bio. And then, you know what was not sensational?
Finding out that she removed it promptly.
Finding out
not even promptly. You were in there for like a year.
Months.
Years.
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 Probably 18 months.
Yeah.
I found out yesterday background, Alexandra Daddario, who's in White Lotus most recently.
One of the most beautiful women in the world.
Just insane.
Yeah.
And she had, I didn't know who she was.
Right.
When I started TikTok, and someone sent me her, DM'd me and was like, do you realize that like your name is in Alexandra Daddario's TikTok bio? And I was like, no way. There she is.
And I think she looks identical to Kelsey Kreppel.
Yeah, I could see it for sure.
Like watching White Lotus, that's all I could see.
Well, her bio said David Dobrik and Connor Wood fan account for 18 months, and I would check it all the time. And what a lot of people don't know about this, and I can't remember who, did I tell you guys yesterday?
Well, it depends.
Oh,
what are you about to
no.
say?
I'm so sorry. The reason I found out that it was removed is because yesterday I was on my MTV, in my MTV meeting. I do the Snapchat show once a week with MTV. And Carly Aquilino, who's also on the show, comedian, so funny, was like, I need to see this in person because I mentioned it for some reason. And she looked it up and said, oh, Connor, it's not there. And I can imagine several reasons why it wouldn't be there. But I remember the first time I saw that it was in her bio, I said, this is incredible. Like,
and you guys DM'd a bit.
A couple times. And I didn't know she was, I left her on red.
You are so stupid.
Oh, so stupid. So stupid.
But to be honest, like it was long overdue to take that out just because of like all the controversy with David. Like I'm surprised like her team wasn't like, take that out like immediately when that happened. Like it was still.
She wasn't very active on TikTok anyways, but
Yeah, but
I was
still.
like, this is incredible. It's been months and my name's been in her bio. And I had a couple drinks one day and I was like, I just noticed like I left you on red. I don't know if I've even told you this, but like I do check every now and then to see if my name is still in your bio because it's so cool to me. And to me, it feels, this is embarrassing. This is going to be bad to say out loud. My grandpa passed away and someone got him like a memorial bench with a plaque on it, so like in memory of, and I said, this is similar to my grandpa's memorial bench. Like this is my, even though I'm alive and it's not a bench and it's just, it's your bio.
Sure.
And she did not respond to that.
That is really,
so
really, really painful.
Don't compare things ever. Honestly, just don't compare, right?
I feel like you've made that move a few times where you've been talking to girls, left them on red, and then we'll go back like months later and then wonder why they aren't answering.
Right, no. Hey, that's right. I'm sure it'll happen again too. But that was a bummer for me yesterday, especially like on top of Montezuma's revenge.
Right.
Not having I'm being
clobbered.
Just berated by horrible situations. Anyways, so let's move. I don't want to talk about Oscars anymore. Like
moving on completely.
I want to just purge myself of the Oscars. I found a story Montezuma. I've been purging my actual physical body.
I've noticed
via Montezuma for 3 days now. But so I found this story this morning. Taylor Lorenz retweeted this.
Okay.
Who is a social media reporter for
right.
New York Times now. I don't know how much truth there is to this, but apparently Facebook Meta is launching like a smear campaign against TikTok, claiming, and they're working with Taylor Lorenz. They're working with a Republican, I forget what campaign director to basically. Let me read the actual
sure that
thing,
could be helpful.
Yeah, it's like they write it so. Okay. Facebook parent company Meta is paying one of the biggest Republican consulting firms in the country to orchestrate a nationwide campaign seeking to turn the public against TikTok. We are living in such a strange timeline where like, and they're saying because kids, Gen Z is spending 2 to 3 times more time on TikTok than Instagram.
Oh, and I didn't even think about the Instagram piece. I was just thinking about nobody using Facebook anymore.
Well, they're saying, I mean, like, how cringy is it for them to be like,
well, push out my reels then.
Push out the reels. I would love to grow on Instagram.
I would love that. They're not doing that for me. TikTok is.
It's just like, it's just so cringy. And now they're working with, it's just feeling very Trumpy.
Yeah, I mean, give me 1 million followers on Instagram. I'll be happy to smear TikTok for you.
I'll smear it all over my body.
Yeah.
Anyways, I wanted to call that out just in case.
Thank you.
If anyone's watching and you start to feel like you're being turned against TikTok, it's intentional.
Yeah, and we can circle back to that if any
I'm curious to see if anything happens with that.
Yeah, me too. And I'm going to ask our friend Alexa works at Meta, so I'm going to ask her about that too, and I can report back. I hear you watched a few episodes of Bridgerton.
I tried. I don't get it.
You don't get. Well, you started with season 2.
Yeah, I started with season 2. I asked everybody if I could start with season 2, and everyone was like, yeah.
I'm a little hesitant about that just because there are some running themes in season 1 and characters that, you need to know. And the brother's the main character of season 2, and his whole storyline is in season 1.
I don't even know who the brother is. I know someone got stung by a bee.
That's the dad.
Yeah.
The dad that's the first time we've ever heard of the dad.
The dad and the brother.
And that's just showing they all look
the same.
They all look the same.
Everyone looks the same.
Everyone looks the same.
All the men look the same.
All the men look the same, yeah. But there's a lot of criticism about season 2 not having enough sex in it.
Yeah.
I guess you did only watch 2 episodes. There was nothing, right?
I mean, no. That's why I was staring at my phone for 2 hours.
Yeah, no.
We need some sex.
Yeah. They did not deliver on that end.
We've set the bar really high in terms of the amount of...
You didn't see season 1.
Is there a lot of sex in season 1?
It was basically like 4 episodes of like sexual tension and then just like exploded.
Plowing.
Like nonstop. Like that was the whole, yeah, it was just like nonstop.
I mean, it's a really
two
cool
characters
show.
that weren't even in season 2.
It's like so well done. You can tell it's so expensive. I wish British people were real.
Yeah.
I think.
Wait, what?
What do you mean?
Me going, yeah, yeah.
I was
Can
just,
you elaborate on that?
yeah, I mean, like we just see so much of them in TV and film, and like I wish I could. You just don't.
You don't see them nowadays. It's probably because we're not in England or
Wherever they are.
Yeah, that's got to be it.
You know what's interesting? I think like accents are the sexiest thing on the planet.
100%.
But people doing fake British accents make me want to like hit them with a bat.
You mean like in acting or when like people in conversation?
In conversation, kind of slip it in.
It's become a bit that people
It's
just
just
start.
so
Is that one
annoying to me.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, I just want.
I cannot do accents. It's like so scary. Like, when
I'm-
I try, it's
Yeah.
like, oh my god, like I sound like I don't even want to say. Like my tongue was cut out or something.
I think that's a. I think I value learning accents over languages.
Okay.
And again, circling back to Cabo, anytime I spend 2 days anywhere, I'm like, oh, yeah, can me and my friends get a quesadilla? Like, I'm like, I don't know why I like start picking up on the accent like right away.
That is.
It's so cringy. Like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I was gonna say interesting. That doesn't bother you when people talking in a British accent does.
Oh, I mean, yeah, no, I mean,
Yeah.
same with New York. I start talking like I'm from New York. Like,
I've noticed my accent has changed since
Yeah.
I moved here. I
Very.
used to have like a really, really like noticeable way of saying my A's, like from Philly. Like my middle name is Hannah, right?
Hannah,
How would you say that?
Hannah.
So I would always say Hannah. Like I'd be like
Hannah.
Brooke Hannah. And now I've noticed myself saying Hannah. Is that how you say it?
I can't tell now.
Yeah.
Doesn't
but
even
I've
sound like
noticed
a-
like my voice is changing and I feel like the way I used to speak, like the Hannah of it all, like people would like notice and be like, that's something. Like Harry. I would say like Harry stuff. Harry. But now I'm like I stutter before I start any words with a long A. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm like, Harry.
Yeah.
Now I would say Harry, I think.
Whoa.
I know. And it's kind of sad because I used to like love that there was like something about me that was like, ooh, like that's weird.
I think
You know?
it probably just goes in and out.
It
It's
goes
just
in
like-
and yeah, it does
it's
go in
who
and out.
I hang out with too. Like when I hang out with, I'm trying to think like
Well, our friend Tristan has like these
Southern,
words.
yeah.
that
Oh
he-
yeah.
Like he'll always say like, he'll talk, this is a blouse, like he'll say. And now I'm like, oh, I love your blouse, Connor. Even though that's not
Yeah.
a blouse.
Oh, this
it's
is
like
this is
yeah,
a
it's a
crew neck.
sweatshirt. Yeah.
It's a crew neck sweatshirt.
Or like he'll say via every 5 seconds. And
Yeah.
now I'll say via. Like I got here via my car, via walking into the studio, via sitting down,
yeah.
via grabbing a liquid death.
Well,
Like, and that's not how you use via.
people will be like, "Oh, like why don't you have a Texas accent?" I'm like, "I do when I go back to Texas." Like it's like
Do you?
it's so psycho crazy. It's like it's like heavy.
It is
thick.
so weird how like I've said Hannah for 24 years and then I move here and now it's Hannah.
Yeah,
That is like crazy.
it's crazy.
Yeah. That's it. So you didn't
change it.
So you didn't enjoy Bridgerton. You didn't enjoy Bridgerton. I didn't.
No, I
I
didn't.
didn't expect you to.
I didn't not enjoy Bridgerton. It was nice background noise.
I will say I've been my feelings about Bridgerton. I like it, and like I like the show. I liked season 1, regardless of the sex, and I feel like I'm in the minority there. But the thing I hate about Bridgerton is that they always have like the girls, especially in season 2, that are like, oh, like I don't want to get married, like. Oh, like I want to be a strong, independent woman. Like those are the girls that are like the main characters and end up like with the happily ever after. And I know I'm at the ball begging on my hands and knees for the prince to notice me. And so I feel like shit about myself that I'm not the girl like that goes for the horse rides alone and doesn't want to be saved. You know, like oh, like save me from the tower, please, and I can still be the main character.
Well, they're like
you know,
reclaiming that
it's
history.
like, but
there.
it feels like very pick me. Like oh, I don't need a man, and then of course they end up with the
It
guy.
feels very not historically accurate. Based
Well,
on
there's a lot of historic retellings in Bridgerton. You know, they've reclaimed different narratives.
I was
Yeah.
picking up on
Yeah.
that. I was calling it plot holes, but I guess it was intentional.
Yeah, yeah,
Intentional plot holes are probably just part of the plot.
right. Like there's a lot of like racial diversity.
That
in
was
Bridgerton.
a
and Connor's like that doesn't seem right, and I'm like yeah, historically, yeah, that wasn't the case, but it's intentional.
It's awesome. I
like
was
Hamilton,
yeah.
Hamilton,
Hamilton.
like Hamilton,
Hamilton. Doesn't even sound like a word anymore.
no, lost all meaning.
Hamilton.
You know things. You know how words lose meaning?
Yeah.
Like if you say them,
Garage.
that happened. Yeah, that happens to me with people.
Whoa.
Like if I look at, especially my parents, if I look at them for too long, it's like, you know, I guess when a word loses meaning, it's like the sounds together and the letters together are jumbled and don't make sense. Like the people's facial features. I'm like, what? I don't recognize you anymore.
You know when you see a picture of someone you went to high school with that you were very close with and you're like, what does their voice sound like?
No.
Well, that's.
I think no, I don't. But that's an interesting experience. We got a lot of attention from our talking about our celebrity crushes.
Yeah, I was gonna.
And
say,
that tiered approach.
Yeah, that was really cool phenomenon.
Should I re-summarize what that is? Because
Yeah.
I want to ask you what yours.
Yeah, we can cover that again.
Okay. So just in terms of your celebrity crushes, they can fall into 3 tiers. Tier 3 is like when you're watching them, you have a crush on them, but it's only kind of when you're watching them. You don't go out of your way to consume other content. Tier 2 is when you're watching them, you have a crush on them, and you go out of your way to like consume other content like YouTube videos. You're actively Wikipediaing, Reddit forums, whatever. Tier 1 is like you literally like the thought of spending your life without this celebrity crush, agony. Like it's really painful.
You know what's crazy? I realized I posted on our story on Friday before the Oscars. Jim Carrey was my tier 1.
Oh my God. And there's been a lot of buzz about him coming out, talking about the Chris Rock thing. Yeah. Interesting.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Prophecy.
Called
So I wouldn't shut up about my tiers of celebrity crushes. What are yours?
I think it's hard for me to like categorize them because I don't think I've had it.
I think yours are probably all tier 3.
Yeah, I think it's all pretty much tier 3. I think Sydney Sweeney would definitely make her way into tier 2.
Tier 2?
Two.
So you've like consumed other Sydney Sweeney content.
I follow her on everything. I watch her interviews.
Have you seen any of her other movies?
I
or
mean,
stuff
like White Lotus, Euphoria.
I'm challenging your tier 2.
She was in something else.
She was in. Did you see The Voyeurs?
No.
See, I even go out of my way to see other Sydney Sweeney movies.
Well, I don't have like this celebrity draw.
I know. That's why I'm saying I think I don't even think you have a tier 2.
It's also really weird because we have mutual friends, so like I don't feel comfortable.
I probably have mutual friends with Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, White Lotus.
Yeah, she's in
Downfall's High. She was in the thing with MGK. Was that?
I don't know, but the movie she was in, The Voyeurs.
She was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
She was in so many things.
Whoa, I guess I have some homework.
You're tier 3.
And The Handmaid's Tale?
Yeah, tier 3. Okay, you would know this if you were tier 2.
Oh, well then I guess this is tier 3.
Yeah, she's a tier 3.
Anne Hathaway in Ella Enchanted.
Yes.
Kate Hudson in Fool's Gold.
So it's interesting that they're just specific movies. How about Anne Hathaway and anything else? No?
I really like Anne Hathaway. Zendaya has been one for a while, but I feel like she's not mine. You know, like
she's not yours.
She's everybody. She's like the world.
I get that. I feel that way with Robert Pattinson.
Yeah,
which is why he's a tier. And I feel that way.
It's almost too unrealistic for me to even.
There's a syndrome that I think people had in the One Direction fan community, where people pretended to have like Niall or other people as their number 1 because it was too painful to admit that Harry was. Because everybody else felt that way about Harry. It's like, I'm not even going to bother. So people would pretend to like other members of One Direction when really everyone was there for Harry.
That phenomena should be named because obviously it's a universal experience.
I was a Niall girl, but
I bet that's how a lot
Niall's not even on my crush list anymore, and Harry's a tier 2.
I bet that's how a lot of people felt about from the Goofy movies.
Because Goofy's son was so hot?
Probably the son and the love interest of the son. Who was like, from what I know, like a lot of people's sexual.
But how does that relate to the One Direction phenomenon?
That was like a massive thing. It was like no one talked about how they thought that like.
I think people did talk about that.
She was like on par with Topanga from.
She looks like Topanga from Corey.
Corey in the House
from Boy Meets World.
Anyways, I guess I'm tier 3, but I'm gonna keep everybody updated.
Tier 3 of her.
No, I mean like that was like just an interesting one when you started talking about Harry Styles. I was like, oh, that's like how everybody felt about.
I think that's a jump.
Hey. Consider me Corbin Blue from Jump Rope movie.
Jump in.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wanna do the hot takes and the.
Okay, let's do it.
So yeah, you can. I found. I was going through
this
and
is an interesting one.
we made a public. Well, do the hot take first, and then I'll get to.
I'll read this hot take.
Okay.
This is from Haley. So thank you, Haley. I think charcuterie boards are stupid. I'm sorry that I don't find sandwich meats that have been manhandled to look like roses by strangers, a few loose scrapes, and a cube of cheese appealing. When I think of charcuterie boards, I think of eating my supper out of a compost bin. The biggest problem I have with them is when I go to fancy dinners where I used to starve myself all day for the large, luxurious meal I would get. I'm now presented with an adult Lunchable served to me on a slab of oak.
Agreed.
I know I can't be the only one who feels this way. Let me know your opinions on this matter because so far I've got no one on my side. Thank you, Haley. Thank you, Haley, for your bravery.
Haley.
Yeah.
I feel
You agree?
Yeah, I think that like it started out like very harmless, and we've
taken it
too far.
So I have a hot take like that goes hand in hand with that. I'm not a cheese person.
You're gonna love the bad date story.
I love like mac and cheese, pizza, and like I love recently mozzarella and burrata, like very mild.
Me too.
But like any sort of cheese on our charcuterie board, I will not go near. Like a hard cheese or like a smelly cheese, like I like it is like my number one food that I just cannot deal with.
I don't like the hard cheeses. You're right. I like brie.
I've never tried it. I'm too scared.
Well, Trader Joe's has some really good cheese. Very easy cheeses.
Yeah. Or like I'll even do like I've expanded. It used to be no cheese, and now I'll expand to like a melted kind of cheese.
Oh.
On like a grilled cheese. Like I wouldn't have even done grilled cheese before. Now I will. Or like, and I've also expanded into those string cheeses, but only the kind that are the mixed swirl polio.
I've never been a swirl.
I only will do those. But any other kind of cheese, I don't like. So
That's
I agree with the charcuterie.
Mozzarella, right?
Yeah, I think I just like mozzarella maybe.
Yeah.
But I agree with the charcuterie. Like I don't like them because of the cheese. But I will, like I love those little salamis.
I think it's more, for me, it's like we could just stick with a couple things. Like it doesn't need to be this massive, like.
And it better not be the main
production.
meal like you're saying there.
The main meal, the situation where I'm like, I'm getting full and now I've got like 3 cashews in my stomach. I've got like a piece of pepperoni. Like those two foods like probably shouldn't ever interact. Yeah, pepperoni shouldn't ever be hand in hand with a cashew.
Interesting point. Yeah, that can't be easy on the digestive tract, especially when
imagine
who are you? Who's your visitor from Mexico? Merlin?
Huh?
Who? What's this? What's
Montezuma?
Montezuma. Yeah, Montezuma wouldn't.
Marlin is Nemo's dad.
No, Merlin.
Oh.
No, Marlin is Nemo's dad, but Merlin is what I. Who's Merlin?
He's a wizard.
Yes. Yeah. So I think you have found a safe space.
You got 2 of us on board.
I do love the little salamis.
I think it's a fun idea. I just think if we took it too far and it's cringy now. It's like chill. Like I like the idea of bringing some meats and some cheeses to the park.
Right. It's not a meal by any.
No, it's a snack.
It's a snack.
It's a pregame.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't like cheese.
I'm seeing eye to eye with you.
Yeah.
Also, the cleanup for a charcuterie board.
Oh, well, why so bad?
Because like everyone kind of gets full, and then you have all this leftover like meat and cheese, and it always goes into those like little sandwich bags, and you don't want to like get it back out the next day.
I hear you.
It's just
I
don't know.
There's one more hot take. Do you want me to do that, or you want to go right into your dating?
Well, I just simply agree with that.
Yeah, lying is fun.
Lying is fun.
Lying's okay if you do it innocently, 100%.
Yeah.
And I've always one of like my big TikToks is me lying.
Yeah.
To when we first moved in together in common room.
Can we pull that up?
Yeah, I linked it.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And I think if I ever do merch, like this would be one of the quotes. Like I love lying. Ew. Sorry, I hate watching myself, but it's fine.
Things to do. One of my many talents, one of my hobbies is lying. I love lying. I love lying pathologically. I love lying through my teeth, and I love doing it every single day. So now that I have roommates, I figure, why don't I just lie to them for fun and see how they react?
You guys, Kylie Jenner just followed me. No,
I probably shouldn't be screaming, "You're a bitch."
That's fine.
One of my favorite things.
Yeah, that was really fun, and that was like fully that was not staged. That was so real.
That was very real.
If I could go back and redo it, I would have said Miley Cyrus, or someone that could have actually followed me.
Miley Cyrus would have seen that.
Miley would have, because Miley was so active on TikTok for a bit.
I think that Kylie Jenner is pretty active on her phone.
Yeah, that's a good point, but she doesn't engage at all. Like I should have said
prowling around in the darkness.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, before we get to bad first date, I watched the coolest thing on the plane yesterday. I love Planet Earth, the show where they take us into the ocean,
right?
And they show us the ins and out of the anemones and octopus.
We should watch.
I would love to. It is. I don't know what it does for me, but it just like
it's very cool.
It's so cool to me to watch. There is a new one called Earth After Dark or something, and they have these like insane cameras that can like they can film in the middle of the night in these random in these jungles, and like they did one in Borealis, which is where it's northern Europe, where the northern lights are, and they did one on a community of bears, that giant gorgeous bears that are nocturnal now because they've learned that humans hunt them if they're out during the day. And like usually you're used to big cats being nocturnal. I've never seen a nocturnal bear, and I didn't think I was going to yesterday on my flight home from Cabo. That's the only thing that could have turned my day around, is so they could follow them at night, pitch black, and it would look like daylight. I wish I knew what it was called.
Oh my God, I didn't hear. I was zoned out for like 10 seconds
It's okay.
there. So sorry.
I didn't say anything of substance.
That's okay. Oh my God.
Okay, so let's
thinking about Matthew.
Let's move on to. So we got last week we got a bunch of bad first dates from like a lot of women sending bad first dates, and I was like, oh, we didn't get a single one from guys.
Yeah.
We got a bunch from guys this week, but I started reading this one. It's just like so funny to me. So it's really long. It's really long. I even like tried to memorize a little bit of it so I didn't have to like read word for word.
Okay.
But this is from Peter. So I just heard on the episode where you read off the bad date stories that you had no bad dates from men. So I figured I'd write in the first date story I call my worst date. We'll call the other person Rachel. Rachel. This is my first. Notice how he changed the name in his story. So
noticing.
Because it's going to get very specific here in a second, and luckily, given the circumstances, she will not notice. But this was my very first Tinder date, and I was ecstatic to finally have. He also has a way with words. I was ecstatic to have finally gotten a match that turned into a date. I showed up 15 minutes late to the bar she picked, but luckily, you ever forget to breathe? She picked. But late.
Do you have to go to the bathroom?
No, I showed up 15 minutes late to the bar she picked, but luckily she showed up 15 to 30 minutes later than I did. She sits next to me.
Are you sure?
My mind is elsewhere. She sits next to me at the bar, and we got to conversating. She kept asking me to repeat myself, which, given there was live music playing during one of the busiest nights of the week at this bar, I thought it was normal. But she maybe should have picked a better spot. After a few, sorry, what was that? She says, yeah, I'm sorry, my hearing isn't great in this ear. I was kicked in the head by a horse when I was little.
Sure. Sure.
After hearing the story of a horse getting spooked, the conversation continued, and I mentioned something she had said earlier in the conversation, to which she replied, oh, I said that? Sorry, I have pretty bad short-term memory. I was kicked in the head by a horse when I was little. Between the volume in this bar and her making strange claims, like I dated the nephew of one of the lead animators at Pixar, so one of the princesses from Frozen is based off of me. We were having trouble finding the momentum to banter. Her next conversational gambit is to out of nowhere say, man, I love cheese. A woman after my own heart, can't remember shit, and loves cheese. As someone who's into cooking and improving your palate, I asked what felt like an obnoxious question. Oh, me too. Do you have a favorite cheese? Her response, no. What even are the different kinds of cheese? She probably can't remember. After listing some of the cheeses that people eat every day, she says, oh, I don't know. I guess cheddar. Sounds like you. Cold take for a cold conversation. So then he went on to mention to her that he's poly and has another partner. And then she goes, I am also poly. And right. I'm mad at my partner because he just gave me oral herpes.
Sure.
He then said, I didn't want to touch her the rest of the night. Nothing against people with herpes is what he said. Those were his words, not mine. She tells me she's a theater teacher, and I asked what she was having her class rehearsed to put on right now, Shrek the Musical. Somehow, this was her invitation to sing an entire Shrek the Musical song a cappella.
This has to be made up.
This is, no, because cuts her a few months in the future. She's moved to a part of the city I live in, and she comes into Starbucks I worked at. We hadn't talked since, and I still wanted to be friendly. So as I'm making her a drink, I say, "Hey, Rachel, how are you? Finally moved around here?" Looking surprised, someone had recognized her. She says, "Wow, good memory. Where did we meet? I don't think I remember your name." And I thought to myself, right, because you were kicked in the head by a horse when you were little.
Oh my God. That doesn't even seem
But by
bad.
the way,
That's just like, wow, I have a funny story to tell.
it sounds like that movie with
Seems fun.
with Ben Stiller and whoever, I forget. He goes on like his honeymoon with his like.
Yes.
50 First Dates.
No, that's Adam Sandler. It's not 50 First Dates.
I mean, it's a hybrid of 50 First Dates and
Ben Stiller and that woman that's in everything whose name I don't know. Blonde.
He's living in San Francisco.
Heartbreak Kid.
Oh yeah, it is Heartbreak Kid.
Yeah.
Or no, it's Along Came Polly.
No, Along Came Polly is Jennifer Aniston.
You're right. Heartbreak Kid.
Heartbreak. Yeah, that's good. Wow.
It's a combo of 50 First Dates and Heartbreak Kid.
Yeah. This seems like a date I would want to go on.
Well, I could imagine the combo of things happening was just a little overwhelming. But he called his friends, the part that I removed, because I remember this part. Well, hang on. There's also another part when she was mentioning that she's making a film.
Right.
And he said, "Oh, really? Like, what is it?" She's just like, "Oh, I'm making a sequel to a huge Hollywood film, and we're just not going to tell them that we're making a sequel to their film."
Okay.
And it's like a horror movie about dolls or something.
Okay.
It's like, this is like the craziest thing ever. But anyways, he called like a couple of his friends and was like, "I just went on the best date."
Yeah, that sounds like the best date. That's a story you're going to be able to tell for the rest of your life. Nothing better than the gift of a good story to tell.
I totally agree.
Right.
And someone has been saying on TikTok, one of our friends, I can't remember who it is. Oh, Serena Kerrigan. Do it for the plot.
Yeah. That's a thank you for sharing that story.
That was, wait, who was it? Joe? No. Let's see. Peter.
Thank you, Peter.
You're the man. That was really
great story. And like, I feel like the other ones, like the ones we read last week, I was like, that is like, thank God I've never experienced that. This I'm like, okay, that's so fun.
It's up for
that's a fun event.
This feels to me like something I'd be like, how did I even get in this situation, and how am I gonna get out of it?
I feel like it would happen to you.
You know what? It's funny because like the roles are switched.
What do you mean?
Like I'm like, oh damn it! And last week I was kind of like, this sucks, but it's like hilarious. Like these are funny,
right?
But I wouldn't want to be the girl in those situations,
right?
And now this guy is saying all this, and I'm like. And he was even like, it wasn't so bad, but I'd be like, this is the longest night of my life.
And I'd be curious, like the last two stories where the guy was in the wrong, like they were in the wrong.
Yeah.
This girl's not in the wrong. She's just quirky.
She should take someone with her. Like, I hope she had a friend with like wearing a mustache in the bar, like watching them.
Right.
Because if she's not remembering anything.
Yeah, good point. I do wonder how she navigates.
Like, I wonder if her dad's putting out the same newspaper every day and acting like it's his birthday because like having to go get a new pineapple every day, going to the same cafe.
Yeah, that's 50 First Dates reference, which I know is one of your favorite movies.
It is one of my favorite movies. Yeah. Nice.
Because I know you so well. What's my favorite movie?
I am going to tell you so soon. And
the thing is, I could rattle off Connor's top 3 favorite movies or really anything about Connor. What's my middle name?
Hannah. I don't know my parents' birthdays.
I know.
Like, I think
I've learned that your love language is just different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that maybe I was kicked in the head as a horse. Am I living the same? Wait, kicked in the head as a horse.
When you were little. By a horse.
Do you think I'm living the same day over and over again?
Well, that goes back to our discussion of like, are we like in the hospital dying, and like right now these are our memories. All right, thank you guys so much for tuning in. You can follow us anywhere on all social platforms, BNCMAP. If you guys have any more bad first date stories or hot takes, write them in dearbrookeandconnor@gmail.com. Did I do it right? I feel like you usually do that.
Dear BNC.
Sorry, dearbnc@gmail.com. Sorry, good.
That's okay. I mean, you were winded.
Yeah.
Wait, should we get a new prompt for next week? Because I had a couple people
Okay.
that I read that said
Yeah.
I was waiting for the new prompt, but since there wasn't a new prompt,
Okay, yeah, give him a new prompt.
I mean, still,
I love the hot takes.
feel free to continue to send hot takes. I
Yeah.
think the hot takes are
Yeah.
fun, and they're a lot of them are just like lying is fun, and we're like, yeah.
Yeah. How about is it getting old, or can people send us their celebrity crushes tiered? I'd be
Yeah.
really curious to hear.
Cool, yeah. Send any of the above. Yeah, that works.
Yeah. Okay.
That'll be fun.
And please use the tiered approach if you don't mind, because that helps me put things in perspective.
Wait, you know what I kind of want to do too?
Huh.
I'm just gonna add this in. If you have like a horrible flight story,
Oh, okay.
because I don't remember who was I talking. Was I telling you about that story when I was sitting middle seat the other day?
Yeah, that was really funny.
Was that on the podcast?
I think so,
Okay, never mind.
but I don't.
But I think
don't know.
those like are so funny, and I had one yesterday coming back from Cabo, and I can't tell it because it seemed like one or two of the people in my row may listen to the podcast.
Oh, okay, got it.
Oh, by
Yeah,
the
you
way, if
never
I
know.
met you in Cabo, it was really nice to meet you. I met a lot of mappers, BNC mappers,
BNC mappers.
some
That's amazing.
carthologists.
Yep, and if I met you at the gym, I won't be ever going back. So it was nice seeing you.
Thanks
All right.
for listening,
Thank
guys.
you guys.
See you next week.
Bye.